bhutendriyeshu dharma lakshana vastha parinama vyakyata. Day 119. Etena bhutendriyeshu dharma lakshana vastha parinama vyakhyata. This, the last three transformations, Nirodha Parinama, Samadhi Parinama, and Ekagrata Parinama, can explain the transformation of states, attributes, nature, senses, and reality. The idea of a good explanation versus a not so good explanation, I think, applies to this sutra, as many of us in a hurry are okay with a bad explanation. And in some moral dilemmas, any explanation, good or bad. But when it comes to the stuff that we really care about, that we want to be clear on, bad explanations are a dime a dozen, but good explanations are really hard to find. As David Deutsch points out, a good explanation is one that is hard to vary and applies directly to the situation. For example, a bad explanation is, how did the magician saw the lady in half? And you say, well, he didn't actually saw the lady in half, it was magic. That's a bad explanation, because you can use that explanation for just about anything. All the magic tricks, for example. But to have a good explanation for how he saw the woman in half, for example, there was a trapped box and she was able to stick her head out one end, but it was curled up in a ball and you couldn't see that. And that's how it appeared as though saw the lady in half, but she didn't actually get so. Those explanations are what we all seek and sometimes think we found, but are hard to come by. The scientific method is really good at teasing out the difference between our projection and how reality behaves, but we don't have the time and money to run everything through the scientific method. Sanyama is similar in that it can correct many errors, cognitive errors, and help us arrive at better explanations, but should not be confused with the scientific method. So if you want to call yoga a science, that would be appropriating the word science and applying it to just careful philosophy. And philosophy, natural philosophy, obviously is the precursor to science. But when we use the word science, we mean basically falsifiable prediction, hypothesis is made, careful controlled experiment is made, peer review and publication to make sure that this is how things are. And even then, mistakes can be made. So the scientific method is an outlier in forms of epistemology, but still isn't perfect. It's the best of what we got if we want to understand truth. Sanyama is a careful way of observing our conclusions or our projections and a way to self-correct many errors. If you look at Vyasa's commentary today, it's the longest commentary yet, and his commentary on the sutra is as long as the whole third chapter. But the takeaway is the mismatch between how we think things are, how they appear to us, and how they actually are, can be daunting. And you don't necessarily have to bridge it every time on every issue. Really, it's just the things that we care about. So I'll throw that out there and say that correcting errors, logical fallacies, cognitive biases, and understanding heuristics, this path of least resistance that our cognitive functions tend to take, can help us prevent suffering. And therefore applying the 8 limbs of yoga to our life, just a modest daily practice of all 8 limbs, can help not only improve our ability to see how things are, but it can actually help us improve how things are. So if you'd like to learn today's sutra, feel free to sing with me. Etena bhutendriyeshu dhammalakshana vasta parinama vyakhyata. Etena bhutendriyadeshu dhammalakshana vasta parinama vyakhyata. Etena bhutendriyeshu dhammalakshana vasta parinama vyakhyata. Etena bhutendriyeshu dharma lakshana vasta parinama vyakhyata.